whose one is what, because you have to do things in certain orders at some points.
So do I just type 1d6?
If you do /R1d6, yeah.
/R.
There you go.
I got a 6.
Hey.
6 equals 6, mate.
Oh, that's not good.
That's
I'm
when
like
you
shouting
really
my
wanna
dice
roll the
roll.
dice.
Arr.
Okay,
3.
so we'll say, unless you want to defer, actually, can everyone, if they came up with one, they're incredibly festive elf names.
Oh, I've got one.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to know it?
Yes, please, yeah.
Okay. Cookie tinsel balls.
Cookie tinsel balls. That is a very festive and suitably compliant name. Cookie tinsel balls. And Ellie, you got one? Nope.
Jingle Baubles McJangle.
Okay, jingle baubles McJangle. And last but not least,
Pepper.
the man previously known as Clarence.
Pepper.
Pepper.
Yeah.
Is there a surname to Pepper?
There is, yeah. Mint Snappy.
Mint Snappy. Awesome. Right, this is perfect. Okay, so Peppermint Snappy, would you like to be sheet number 1, or would you prefer to defer to the next highest person?
I will take the honour of sheet number 1, hair computer.
Okay. Please put the name Pepper in your name box and fill out
Thank you for
your... so fill out name, your gender, which is, as previously stated, irrelevant, your rank, which is going to be... You can either write... wait, what have I called it? D, or you can write drummers.
Sorry, what was... Sorry, computer, could you repeat that, please?
D rank.
D rank.
Yes.
Okay.
Or you can write drummers if you so choose.
Whatever the
and
computer desires.
This is the only creative thought that the computer will allow. Next, we have Jingle Baubles McJangle. Would you like to be 2, or would you like to defer?
I'll go for 2.
Jingle Baubles. If you could... Oh, you've already cocked it up, but you put Pepper... Right. Rename these. Oh, what you like. Right.
I'm sorry for my stupidity, Pepper. Computer.
Jingle Balls. And then this one's Pepper. There you go. Right. And that will leave Cookie Tinsel Balls as number 3. So, do a little bit of a cinematic. Oh, yes, yeah, go for it.
What am I supposed to be looking at for these number 3?
The link, the Google Doc I put in chat a minute ago.
Okay. Please work. Well, it's gonna be fun. I'll update you in a bit.
Oh God. So we see as the camera swirling around in the wintry sky of some sleepy little village somewhere in the heartland of England. Zooms out, zooms out, zooms out until we see the whole of England, and then it pans quite abruptly up to the top of this rock that we call Earth before zooming in on the North Pole. It zooms in, zooms in, zooms in. We see various flags jutting out of the ground, indicating whoever decided that they conquered the North Pole first. And then sinking below the thick layer of ice and snow, below the rock, until we see probably the most stereotypical elf factory you can possibly imagine. Christmas carols play at all times, and there are hundreds of little elf workers packing up for the day after a shift well done. And then the camera stops for a second before plummeting a hell of a lot further. down, down, down. We see it, there's like a cutaway. We probably see like the skeleton of some long forgotten dinosaur. Pans past that until it ends up in a perfectly plain, perfectly cubic white room. This room is made up of 10 by 10 by 10 square white panels, everything pure white. Very difficult to make out the edges of anything apart from the thin seams between each of these panels. And we see as one of these panels in the ceiling lifts, goes out of the way, and in place of this panel, a long, rubbery, snake-like tube falls down from the ceiling before placing itself on the floor of this room. And all of a sudden, you all have consciousness. You feel squeezing, like your whole body is being crushed from every angle, but not to the point that it hurts, just enough to feel something. And everything's slimy, and it's dark, and it's gross, and you're being squeezed. And frankly, you were born about 2 seconds ago, so you're not sure what's going on. Then you suddenly see a white light rapidly approaching as the camera pans back out, and a human-shaped and size, well, I shouldn't say size, human-shaped bulge, approximately elf height, follows down this tube until it hits the floor, and then the tube goes with the noise of a man snorting a load of snot and then spitting it out of his mouth, ejects a completely naked elf onto the floor, perfectly average in every single way. And then the tube repeats this 2 more times until there are 3 of you stood in the room around each other. There is no need for me to describe what you look like because, according to the Santa complex, your visage is irrelevant. You take a look around, take stock of each other. You notice, first of all, that you are completely naked, head to toe. However, thankfully, there are floating in your field of vision a small pixelated censored section above anything that might arouse or excite or aggravate any potential onlooker. And then panning up slightly from that, you see above each one of your heads, there is a name. In one instance, Pepper, and then a hyphen, and then there is a D, and then a hyphen, and then XKL, and then a hyphen, and then the number 1. These indicate your name, rank, sector, and what number clone you're on. And now, as a warning message comes up on your cerebral cortex heads-up display, comes up on the screen, I say the screen, just in your vision, way too big for you to be able to see anything else, like someone holding a phone too close to your face. A message appears saying, please stand by, with an ellipsis that rapidly appears and disappears and appears and disappears, seemingly as a loading icon. And now we're going to do a character creation. So it's a weird one, I'll tell you that. Basically, the way this works, probably best if I start. We'll start with Pepper because, as I said, you've got sheet number 1. Pepper, if you have a look on scrolling down past part 1, past part 2, onto part 3, your skills, there will be 16 boxes that you can access.
Yep.
Basically, I want you to pick one of them and put a 1 in it.
Pick one box and put one in.
Any one of those boxes, and you want to have a 1. The way this game works is you have a set of dice, a set of d6s. Each one of those is, well, let's say you have a 1 in athletics and a 2 in violence. That equals up to 3. So you roll 3 dice. Simple as,
Okay.
and you just want to count successes. So bigger numbers are better, but you can have negative numbers as well, which we'll get into when we get into them.
That is done, computer.
Okay, bureaucracy. Okay, Jingle Baubles, can you please put -1 next to your bureaucracy score?
Okay.
Is that done? Okay, and then now, Jingle Baubles, if you would like to pick any other skill, it's not allowed to be bureaucracy, but any other skill to put a 1 in.
Okay. Done.
Okay, which skill is that?
Engineer.
Engineer. Okay, Cookie, if you could please put a -1 in engineer.
God, this is gonna be bad.
Now,
that is
I would like to inform you all, if at any point you are stuck and can't decide what one you want to be good at, keep in mind, rather than think about what you want to be good at, maybe start to think of what you want the person after you to be very, very bad at. For after all, once you have a negative value in any one score, you cannot try and improve it at any point. It stays bad no matter what.
Hypothetically,
Mhm.
if I also so if I chose charm and someone else had to take the -2, would the next person also be able to take the charm and I'd go back down to 0?
No, so the way these rounds work, basically you go, so Pep will pick a 1 and that'll affect you as a -1, then you pick a 1 and that'll affect Cookie as a -1, and then Cookie will pick a 1 and that'll affect Pepper as a -1. And then it goes around to 2, -2, 2, -2, 2, -2, all the way up until you each pick something you have a 5 in, and it should, fingers crossed if everything goes well, end up with you having 5 positive numbers, 5 negative numbers, and 6 zeros, I believe.
Okay.
If it all goes to plan, you cannot pick the same. You are not allowed to choose a number that has. You're not allowed to choose a skill that already has a number next to it, basically. But you can have it forced upon you. So if the person before you, for whatever reason, you got a -2 in athletics from one person, and then someone else gave you a -3 in athletics, that adds up to -5, unfortunately.
Okay.
But that shouldn't be possible if everything goes to plan. So, which did you put a one -1? Cookie, have you put your -1 engineering? Perfect.
Computer.
And if you can put a 1 in any skill that you would like.
That is complete
Perfect.
computer.
Okay. Pepper, if you could put a -1 in bluff. And then if you want to decide where to put your next 2.
Computer, I would like to choose science, please.
Oh, you shit.
Science. Okay. Jingle Baubles, that is a -2 to your science score. And if you would like to pick any skill other than the ones you have a number next to.
Stealth.
Smart. Okay, so that is going to be a -2 to stealth for you, unfortunately, Cookie. And if you'd like to pick another skill to actually be good at.
Let's go with bureaucracy, please, computer.
Okay, so that is a 2 to bureaucracy. And
you're an
Pepper,
arsehole.
that knocks you down to having a -1 bureaucracy, I'm afraid, as it is reduced from 1 to -1.
Cookie, computer, I'd like it known that Cookie's an asshole.
Okay, I will make a note of that.
Thank
In
you.
the character creation of this game, it states explicitly, let me see if I can get it word for word.
Computer, I'm sensing a mild tone of hostility from Pepper.
Keep
there was
going
no-
around the group, slowly building simmering resentments. What do you mean I've got a negative gun skill? Until everyone has 1 blah, 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 blah. Don't worry, simmering resentments are good. Interesting stories arise from conflict. So anything that is going to provoke conflict is good. Okay, so that is done with that. So if you'd like to pick anything to have a 3 next to it, again, nothing that has a number already beside it.
Computer, I would like to choose athletics.
Okay, we have a 3 in athletics. Jingle Baubles. That's a -3 to athletics, I'm afraid.
It's all right. I would like guns.
Guns. Nice. 3 in guns. Very, very helpful, assuming you find a gun. That is the only
That's all right.
prerequisite. So, Cookie, that is a -3 to guns. That one's got to suck. And if you'd like to pick your 3, or if you'd like to just make Pepper bad at anything.
I'd like to go for let's go with a melee.
Okay. So
Please,
not too good
computer.
at shooting, but you can punch things in the face. That is always helpful. So that's going to be a -3 to your melee. Thank you very much. And now repeat again for 4.
I'd like to have the record known that although Pepper sees me as an arsehole, I'm an arsehole with Christmas gin.
I didn't see you as an asshole. I just declared that you were an asshole. There's a difference. I would like to choose. I will go with charm, hair computer.
Okay. I'm very uncomfortable with being called her, but yeah.
Hair.
Yeah. Hair
Mein
computer.
Herr.
Monsieur computer.
Mein Führer.
Yes.
So that is going to be a -4 to charm for Jingle Baubles. Probably not the most conversational person that we've all met.
I mean, nothing changes.
And to compensate.
Operate, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a 4 to operate. So Cookie, that is a -4 to operate, and then whatever you would wish.
We'll go for some programming, please. Computer.
Okay. This is a foreign programming. So Pepper, that is a -4 to your programming, and repeat again for 5.
Computer, I'm noticing an anomaly in
Mhm.
the matrix. In the Jingle Baubles character sheet doesn't seem to be.
Ah, yes.
Agreed. I believe that Jingle Baubles is being non-compliant, computer.
Yes, it's affecting my decision making because I don't know how to fuck her up.
Jingle Baubles couldn't work out how to do it, so we just exported the sheet.
Is Jingle Baubles
Jingle Baubles is
identifying that she is incapable of doing her daily duties, computer?
Well, tell you what,
Oh.
if you
Jingle Baubles
do that,
outside the matrix.
if you do that, and then when
Fine, I
character
found
creation is
it.
finished, I can move it across just so I can see them at the very
It's
least.
fine. I found it. I'm
Okay.
just blind. Seeing is not my strong point.
Okay, yeah, what was it? 5. Pepper, if you'd like to pick your 5.
Yes, so I would like to choose a 5. I'm just waiting for it to fill into a character sheet just so I can see where I can dump
I
her.
actually hate you.
Actually, wait. For the last one, you changed the order. Pepper, if you'd like to pick a 5 that will negatively affect Cookie.
Oh, I would love that. I will choose. I will choose melee, please.
You
Oh bollocks!
motherfucker.
I can't choose melee. Damn it.
You've already picked it.
Yeah, you've
God.
already got a number in melee, I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
no, I can't choose anything because all the ones he's chosen, he's already chosen.
No, you can pick anything on your form that's empty.
Yeah, but I wouldn't reduce one of his stats, so it's all of his plus stats, so it's minus like he did to me, like
Too
an
late.
arsehole.
Okay. Oh, so there's like no crossover. I mean, you could pick guns and make his guns a -8. I don't think it works. I don't think your stats could ever be bigger than a 5. But
Computer.
mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to go guns because I don't believe in guns. I don't believe they exist.
Wow, this is going to be a real fun situation for you then.
I will go with stealth, please.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so you have a 5 in stealth. Cookie, you have a -5 in stealth, I'm afraid.
Plus the -2. Yeah.
I think it caps out at 5.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah. But either way, that's got a sting. Now, Cookie, if you would like to carry out sweet revenge on Jingle Baubles.
Yeah, I'm going to go for charm.
I will remind you that Jingle Baubles already has a -4 in charm. So perhaps there is a more efficient form of crippling her character.
Hey,
I believe,
computer. You're
I
a
believe
dick.
that my personality will reflect that I am more charming than Jingle Baubles.
I see. And Jingle Baubles, if you would like to make your final blow against Pepper.
Oh,
Be nice, because I was nice to you.
no, you bloody wasn't. Demolitions, please.
Okay. So demolitions. Oof, that's gonna suck if you get grenades. So now what I want everyone to do is count up the amount of positive numbers, i.e. numbers greater than 0, in all of their columns and put that number above. So for peppers, for example, in the very first column, there's a 3 and a -3. We count the 3, and it's just the number of positive numbers. So that would be a 1.
Up to 5.
It's only the number of the thing. So it should be from 0 to 4. So you've only got one positive value. Yeah. So 1, and then you've got 1 there, 2, and 0. It cannot be any lower than 0. And if you put all the empty ones, you can leave them empty if you like, or you can put a 0. The difference is 0. Now, Pepper, you have yours filled out, 1120. Jingle Baubles, would you like to just fuck around with that and just put any one of those numbers wherever you want?
What, 1120?
Yeah, 1120 on Pepper sheet, that is.
Oh, on Pepper sheet.
For the violence, chutzpah, brains, and mechanic sections.
Fuck!
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, lovely.
Wait, she moved with 2 of them. That's
Now,
not. She's moved 3 of them.
Jingle Baubles, you have got a 1 there. You've got a 0 there. It's going to be a. Oh wow, you're good at mechanic. Oh, it's just 1 in brains. I did that very quickly. So there is a 1, a 0, a 1, and a 3 on your sheet. Oh wow, Cookie, where would you want to put those numbers? I assume it's not anywhere that's going to be nice.
On Jingle Baubles or on Pepper? Sorry.
On Jingle Baubles.
I mean, there's not a lot of choice, is there? Let's go for a 3 for violence.
A 3 for violence.
And then the 1 into mechanics, I guess. Please, computer.
1 into mechanics, and then there is also a 1 in brains and a 0 in chutzpah. If you are happy with that.
Yeah, I guess that's thereabouts.
Oh wait, shit. Sorry. These are meant to be the other way around. I'll do that very quick.
Shit, can I go back to what I did before? That's not fair.
I'm afraid that the game is designed to make you hate each other. So if you want to go back and change something, it is working swimmingly. Now, Cookie, where have you got yours? You've got no. It's just the number of them. So it would be 1 violence. That's meant to be a brains.
Oh, sorry. Computer,
1 there.
I misunderstood the instruction.
And there's
Computer,
2.
I think you'll find that Cookie's an idiot.
May the record show, computer, that I'm sensing inflation in the hostility from Pepper.
There's
Pepper,
no inflation. It is the same as before.
Pepper, if you would like to allocate a 1, 1, 2, and 1 to any of the 4 stats as you see fit.
Mission complete.
Hold
on, I want to swap these 2 around as well.
I'm also going to change something else on your sheet that I did this. Okay, so number clones 6. Okay, so now your stats are allocated. Your trees and stars should be 0. XP points should be 0 or blank either way. Moxie. So at the
sorry, computer. I believe we have a traitor in our midst.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
If you were to look at Jingle Baubles' character sheet,
now if I click on this, can I see who typed it? That's the question. Oh, show edit history.
It's fine.
Oh, damn, because it's anonymous. It just says all anonymous users. Well, I can only assume you're all traitors. Get rid of that. So I've changed your number of clones to 6, and if you'll scroll down to part 4,
who did write that?
we'll never know. If you scroll down to part 4, where it says Moxie, underneath that there will be blank and then a slash and then an 8. If you would like to put 8 in that first box.
Could you repeat the instruction, please?
If you just put 8 in the blank box underneath the tab of Moxie in part 4.
complete.
Very much. 8.
Computer, I'd also like to report a fault with my sheet. It seems that it's been sabotaged by Pepper.
I believe my sheet has also been sabotaged by Pepper because it says cookie is terrible. And
Oh
whilst
my
I agree with the sentiment, I didn't write that.
It is taken into consideration.
This game hasn't even started, it's descended into anarchy.
Yes, that's how it's meant to work. Now, so you've all got 8 points of Moxie, perfect, and you should all have 6 clones remaining. You are on your first of 6. That is now what you can do. Moxie in the in-game terms is used to make you better at rolling. You can either give yourself more dice by spending Moxie, or you can choose to spend Moxie and re-roll an entire like hand of dice that you have. So if you roll 5 dice and it turns out shit, then you can spend 1 Moxie and re-roll the whole thing. Or if you think it's going to go well and you just want more and more dice to roll, you can add Moxie to that. So you should have 8. Now, you can spend 1 Moxie now and subsequently reduce your maximum Moxie to a minimum of 3 if you want to increase any of your stats by 1. Or at the very least, make them not as bad. I should note that when you run out of Moxie, you, in game terms, quote unquote, lose it, which means go insane. I can just hear you furiously, like, just scribbling hatred to each other. This is glorious.
Computer, I'm happy with the way the Lord Creator is created.
Okay. You can also spend clones if you want to start off with less clones. Then you can increase any of your stats, so your violence, brains, chutzpah, or mechanic.
Is this a one-shot?
Say again?
Is this a one-shot?
It will be a one-shot, but if it takes too long, then, I mean, we have another week next week, because I don't think summer's back yet. There you go. It should only be a one-shot. We'll put it that way. I might be slow. We don't know. So, if anyone wants to reduce the clone number to increase one of their stats, or decrease their Moxie number to increase one of their skills,
by a number, is it?
Yes. So on where you're cookie, aren't you? Yeah. So if you were to reduce your number of clones by 1, and where it says mechanic, you could increase that to a 3 if you want.
Okay.
Do clones come in use later on in the
game? Put it this way: when you run out of clones, you get to go home early.
Cool.
Very little in this game doesn't kill you in 1 hit, and if you run out of clones to spawn back into the body of, then I'm afraid that there is no longer a game to play.
I'm going to risk it, computer, reduce by 1, but increase my brains by 1 also, computer.
Okay. Brains to 2, clones to 5. Perfect. Now, looking upon your character, you should have your name, your rank as D or drummers, sector XKL, gender, which again is irrelevant. The friend computer does not see gender except as a waste of time. You should see 3 personality boxes. I would like you to pick 3 adjectives that you think best describe your elf. They're usually positive, but that is not a requirement. Also, I would request that they are 1 word only.
Yeah.
It makes the next bit easier. I would like to remind someone that meh is not an adjective. Okay.
Apologies, computer. I feel someone was hacking my profile there.
Bullshit. Cool bullshit.
That's a very serious accusation you're making there, Cookie. Are you accusing one of your colleagues of being a terrorist? Accusing your colleagues of terrorists is definitely something that a terrorist would do.
I feel, computer, we need to review Pepper's working placement sheet. It appears that there are self-defecating words that could be implicating him as such.
I'm curious, why are you inspecting another elf sheet? Could it be that you're trying to gather information for some sort of terrorist plot?
No, computer, I was merely reciting and making sure
Spy!
that everyone
Spy!
was complying with
Spy!
the computer's instructions.
You are D rank.
Computer.
Your
I
supervision
believe
is not
Cookie
required.
may be part of a secret organisation.
Right, does everyone have 3 adjectives?
Yes, computer.
Okay, 3 adjectives. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Still waiting on one more from Cookie.
I'm finding it hard to think of one.
Arsehole.
I've already got that.
Okay.
He's already got it twice.
Oh my god. Jingle bubbles. For a second I thought you were written cancer and I was like, that's not an adjective.
Yeah, that's not an adjective, and it's also very sad. I kind of get why she's the pessimist bitch now. Okay, now, Jingle Baubles, would you like to fuck with Pepper or Cookie?
Ooh, Pepper.
Oh,
Okay.
come on.
Go on Pepper's sheet and pick one of those personality adjectives and just flip it upside down.
No, not my favourite one.
So you can either make them the opposite of cheery, the opposite of smiley, or the opposite of psychopathic.
No!
Now, what is... I think empathic would be the antonym for that.
Wouldn't it be sociopath?
They're two sides of the same
I
same
think
end
you'll
of the
find
spectrum.
they're
I'm afraid.
opposites. I mean, they both kill people, but they're opposite sides of killing.
I would say empathic is someone who has a lot of emotions, whereas psychopathic and sociopathic are people that have...
Cheery, smiling, and I'm just going to sit there crying all the time.
No, empathic means that you feel other people's emotions strongly. Now, Pepper,
Yes.
I would like you to pick an adjective on Cookie sheet,
Yes.
and again, make it the opposite. So rather than shy, maybe they're outgoing. Okay, I'm going to have to make a slight adjustment to that one to
What? But
unobservant.
The opposite of watching is blind.
Unobservant.
Okay.
And now, Cookie, if you'd like to pick one of the 3 adjectives on Jingle Bauble sheet, and again, make it the opposite.
Oh God.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
I
Okay.
mean, can we just forget the game and just fuck each other's character sheets all night?
Don't worry, you'll have plenty more chances to do that.
Computer, I'd
Remember,
like to,
ratting
point
on your
out that
friends
that
gains
was
you experience points.
a complete self reciting of confession that he wishes to destroy and ruin everybody's working sheets.
I was only acting on the computer's behalf. The computer's ordered me to defecate upon another character sheet. Therefore, I did.
Right.
following
Let me
orders,
get
like a good Nazi. Are we recording this? Because I'd love to listen back.
Yes, we are.
Okay, lovely. Right. So, let me make sure I am going to get this right. You come to consciousness. You open your eyes, and although you know you've never been here before, you somehow know where it is. a drummer boy clearance cloning and briefing room for new citizens of Santa Complex. White tiled, clean, a bit chilly, empty apart from the other people here, and a neat line of uniforms hanging from pegs along one wall, and security cameras for your security. There are other people here. Like you, they are slightly damp, rather confused, and very naked. Well, quite naked. Strategic locations on their bodies are hidden by a cloud of pixelization, so you realize as you glance down are yours. Names float in the air above their heads, as stated. You have already fucked with each other, and now you see this square on your screen continues to say, "Please stand by." And then it flickers for a second and disappears, and you hear booming from somewhere. "Greetings, new citizens," the voice issues from hidden speakers around the room. "Welcome to your first day in Santa Complex. Any previous days in Santa Complex you may recall are pseudo-memories uploaded to your brain lobes to aid orientation and minimize psychotic incidents in fresh clones. As citizens of Santa Complex, you are now valued members of our great community. You will be given roles and tasks, some simple and some perilous, and your contributions will be rewarded with..." The sound of grinding metal echoes forth from the speakers before it very abruptly cuts out, and there is an explosion somewhere off in the distance. Not sure where, not sure how far away, but muffled, drowning out the voice. The room shakes slightly, an alarm sounds for a few seconds and cuts out. A chunk of tiling falls from the ceiling, crashing onto a scrub bot, a small cleaning robot shaped like a reindeer, almost, like sat on its haunches with two pneumatic mops attached to neither one of its outstretched hooves, and destroys it. It had been sitting silently in one corner next to a stack of mops, and there is a brief silence before that screen appears in the air. "Please stand by." You can try and move your head, you can look away, but no matter what you do, it is directly in the middle of your vision, obstructing probably 90% of what you can see. What do you do?
Hello, citizen friends. How are you? I can just about see you.
I can't see anything.
I'm never going to see anything again.
Excellent use of pessimistic trait. By the way, if you are consistent in your personality traits, you will eventually regain, if you have spent the moxie points, which is, well, how you regain moxie points. And now, after a second or two of waiting and this scrub bot, you hear it spark and smoke begins to billow forth from it before something stops and it just goes completely silent. The light at the end of its nose that formed its visual sensor going out. And that message on your heads-up display saying, "Please stand by," the ellipsis is replaced by the words, "The door."
As anyone shy, like coiled in their own personality, shuffle over to the door.
Okay, you shuffle over to the door. And the rest of you?
I'm empathic, so I could sense the Cookie's shy. So I give him a hug. "Oh, Cookie, it's okay. I'll be your friend. We can do this together."
My face is
I help
that
him to the
of the
door.
Grinch.
Jingle's going to walk.
"Come on, guys. We
the
can do
bubble?
this."
I just want to read this from the book. "Now ask the players, what do you do? Some of them will say they move to stand by the door. Good. That shows initiative and a willingness to follow instructions. Make a note of these players. They are patsies and may be useful in the future." The door
Computer's never wrong.
opens.
I will always do what the computer says.
The door opens, and
Yay,
another elf steps in wearing a red jumpsuit. You know immediately upon seeing this that she must be of the Piper's rank, directly above you, and that means she can tell you what to do. The name floating above her head is Crackle P-XKL-2. Her eyes are focused on something in front of her that you can't quite see. She looks almost like she's staring into space before she flickers her eyes for a second. a memory that you've never accessed or even experienced before tell you that she's Piper level and you're Drummer level, which means she is one level security clearance above you and she can tell you what to do. She does. Get dressed, clones, she says. Santa Complex needs you. We've had a full-on Grinch attack on the lowest level of a nearby sector and it's all hands to the pump. You don't need the rest of the briefing. If you need to know anything, look it up in Santapedia, though your cerebral cortex implant. Everyone's got their CC running, right? She taps the side of her temple twice. Everyone can see my name. She points in the air above her head.
Yes, Crackle.
Yes,
Thank
Crackle.
you.
Excellent, excellent. So what is it that you're doing at this current moment?
Awaiting orders.
I'm looking
received
around
orders.
for where are the clothes?
There are pegs on the wall with black jumpsuits on them.
I kind of have one arm around me, hiding my torso, and like cower, but pick off very delicately the clothing and begin to
Computer?
find a corner to change into.
Computer? What colour is Drummer level?
That is a black jumpsuit.
Black. I will put on... thank you, Crackle and Drummer. I will put on the jumpsuit.
So you put on your jumpsuits, you'll start to get dressed. Crackle continues. Great. Your cerebral cortex is your link to your friend, the computer, information, directions, mission updates, experience points, holovids, and all the rest. It's all being directly to your eyeball display, spelt IBALL, as in iPhone. Anything else you need to know, sub-vocalize it. The computer can see and hear everything you can, so you don't have to describe anything. The computer already knows. Okay. Grab your mops. You're all working for technical services today. She checks her clipboard. And your first job is, she looks left to right in the room as if not sure what job to give you before settling on the scrub bot in the corner. To get that scrub bot repaired, escort it to the technical services depot down the corridor. Make sure nothing else happens to it. Don't screw it up. Santa Complex needs a lot of scrubbing right now. You'll get 10 experience points each for this. And
Thank you.
she turns to leave. You seem to have everything under control. Good luck. And the door opens and closes in rapid succession behind her. Now it's just you, the scrub bot, and 3 mops.
How broken is the scrub bot?
It has been hit by a chunk of synth creep that fell from the ceiling and is currently making a high-pitched whining noise.
Good. Okay, Jingle is going to go over and try and push the whatever rubble's still on it off.
Okay, yeah. You sure you can just clear the area at the very least? As you're getting close to it, you notice that there is a very sizable dent in the top, like basically where its skull would be if it actually had one. There is a sizable chunk caved directly inwards, and the light that makes up its visual sensor is flickering in and out. Doesn't look too great.
Computer, can I try and charm the robot back into existence?
Now, tell you what. What? Okay, so what? The way this works is basically you describe what you want to do, and then you say what stat. It has to be 1 stat and 1 skill. That's how it works. So you've got violence, brains, chutzpah, and mechanic, followed by athletics, gun, melee, throw, blah 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 blah, all the way down. So you pick 1 stat and 1 skill that you would like to, what do you think apply to this role, and then roll them. We shall see. Okay, so what would you like to do? You would like to charm the scrub bot. Okay.
I look at it and I'm just like, come on, scrub bot, you can do this for Christmas.
One of the panels in the walls retracts before flipping, and on the other side there is a giant snow globe in the shape of an eye, and the giant central dark blue, almost black sphere inside of it that makes up the pupil swims around a second before focusing on you, and the snow globe detaches on the end of a robotic arm and Oba right up close to you, Pepper, and says, "Did someone say Christmas?
I said Christmas.
Well done."
Thank
And
you.
just stands there for a second, just waiting. "Can't help but notice you're delaying in your task. Can I ask what's going wrong?"
Well, I was trying to encourage the clean bot to be better.
Speaking to robots sounds like something a psycho would do to me.
Not
You're not a
anymore.
psycho, are you, Pepper?
Not anymore. I'm empathic now. I love everybody.
Are you referring to previous memories that you may be experiencing from your neurotech implants?
No. No, definitely not.
The snow globe develops two metal panels that extend over the top and bottom of it to represent eyelids, and they squint towards you before unfolding themselves back out of sight, and says, "Very well, keep up the good work. You don't have long." And the snake-like robotic arm attaches itself back to the wall, and the panel goes in, spins, goes back out before leaving a perfectly white wall once again.
Oh, he was nice.
That didn't sound good. Why don't we take you to the? Where's the repair station here?
As you say that, a giant glowing, it's kind of just like this big red arrow that is in your vision, but it is outlined in Christmas lights indicating direction, and it is incredibly big and very difficult to see around, and it obscures most of your vision, but it points you in. It's like a Google Maps, it says like in 50 feet, turn left, and it's just in the center of everything that you can see, directing you towards technical services.
Okay. Jingle's gonna go. Come on, Cariad. Let's get you to the repair station. Come on. I know your vision's not there, but we can get you there. Maybe.
The
could do it,
scrub
team.
bot starts to, and one of the mops begins to very slowly stop. Start spinning before coming to a stop, and something inside it goes and snaps.
I try and get to like some sort of programming port on the deer and try to repair some of its programming, perhaps?
This is a
functional to an
largely physical issue, but you can try and at the very least stop it from doing things like that.
Glitching out, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be a brains programming role, I reckon, since you're able to, use your brains. So your brains is a 2, and your program is a 4, so that is a total of 6. You roll 6d6, and you're counting the numbers in 5s and 6s.
So
that is 1, 2, 3 successes. Very nice. Yeah. So you managed to crack open the top of the. Oh, can you roll another d6 on top of that for me, please?
Oh no.
Okay. Whenever I will ask you to roll, if you roll everything and then roll 1d6 immediately afterwards, that 1d6 doesn't do anything unless it's a 1, in which case something cool happens. So you manage to crack open something and start tapping away, move a couple of wires out of the way, and you basically what you stop it doing is now the automatic brakes are no longer active, and it's not going to start trying to continue cleaning. However, it is not going to move of its own accord. It appears to still be very broken.
Can I try? Is it big?
It's about the size of a suitcase.
Can I try
Same
and pick it
dimensions
up?
as well, with 4 wheels on the bottom.
Oh, can I just push it?
You can do so, but it is very heavy. It takes a couple of people to start moving it across.
Kind of roll my eyes, give a grunt, and then just kind of awkwardly behind Pepper, like push as well.
Okay. So whoever's what's this going to be? This isn't violence. I'd say this is mechanics, and Let me see. Athletics by the looks of it. So, Pepper, if you would like to roll, have you got? Yeah. So 3 in athletics, 1 in mechanics. That is 4d6.
4d6.
Mhm.
So that is R/4d6. And then R
Slash R 46. Not R slash.
slash
That's Reddit.
R 4d6. And then
There you go.
slash R
Oh, nice.
1d6 slash R space 1d6. I'm good at this.
Computer,
Okay,
I'd like to point
so-
out that Pepper sounds like he's malfunctioning.
A floor tile doesn't even open up. It just flickers to life and becomes a large 1 meter by 1 meter plasma screen directly underneath you, and says, "Sorry, what was that?"
Computer, I believe that Pepper has a malfunction. He sounds very robotic. I believe a replacement clone may be the best result.
Are you questioning the cloning practices of Santa Complex?
No.
Sounds like he is.
You know our cloning complex is absolutely perfect, right?
I believe the cloning process has been successful. However, since being cloned, I believe that he may, as part of the destruction of whatever has occurred here, may have caused a malfunctioning in some sort of programming.
I disagree. I'm fine.
The screen, well, the screen. First of all, the eye on it squints a second and says, "I'm going to take a look," and then the screen goes out, and you see a small blinking red light appears on the scrub bot for a couple of seconds, and then the screen underneath you comes back to life, and there's another eye, and it says, "Okay, did a little bit of digging, and it says someone's been tampering with the programming as of about 30 seconds ago. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you guys?"
It was Cookie.
The eye disappears from that tile and appears on the tile up directly underneath you. Sorry, couldn't hear you there, Pepper. What was that?
It was Cookie. He was
Why
trying
didn't you report Cookie sooner? That sounds like something a terrorist would do.
Oh no, I did. I tried to, but Cookie stopped me. He forced himself upon me. I feared for my life.
Just kind of give him
I'm gonna
like
need you. I'm gonna need you to lie.
Really?
I'm gonna need you to. So, what? You tell me what stat you want to use, but this is definitely going to be a bluff roll.
Brains, because I'm using my brains.
Okay, so you've got a 0 in brains, but a -1 in bluff.
I've got. Oh shit! I'm looking at the wrong stat. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I was looking at Cookie sheet.
Nice one.
What am I rolling?
So it's bluff and well, you already said brains. So with a 0 and a -1, you use the absolute value. So instead of just having -1 dice, obviously it doesn't make sense. It is 1 dice because it's the magnitude of the number. However, when you roll that d6, if it's not a 5 or a 6, that counts as a failure.
It's a 4 in your face, failure.
No, that's a failure.
Yeah,
That's not a 5 or a 6. And now,
See,
if you could
computer, I
roll
believe
another,
there was a malfunction, and it seems that there is.
if you could roll another d6, please, for me for the
Slash R1d6.
the computer die. That one's fine. Okay,
That's
so
2 fours, that makes an 8. I win.
that is 0 successes and therefore 1 failure. The eye squints and says, this tends to happen, and then the screen that it is directly underneath you goes out before the screen drops about 3 feet and off to the side. And for the split second before Pepper begins to fall, she turns to you all, and then 2 robotic arms come out from underneath the ground, grab her, and then start just compacting her into a small, meaty cube about 1 foot in each dimension before sucking the meaty cube back into the floor, and the tile panel replaces itself. I would like you to reduce the number of clones you have by 1.
I would also like to point out that Pepper isn't female. Pepper is, in fact, all sexes.
Of course. It matters not to a home computer. They refer to everyone as guys. Hey, you guys.
Hi guys, what's happening?
The eyeball reappears underneath you, Cookie, and says, "Wow, looks like you were right, but can't help but stay on the lookout, eh? Can't help but notice you still haven't got this scrub bot back to where it needs to go. Technical services are waiting for this."
We're on our way now, computer.
It
And I begin
waits
trying
for
to
a
push
second
again.
before like it thinks to say something and goes, "Okay," and then disappears again. You begin pushing. Roll athletics and what do you reckon? Mechanics. It's not exactly anything fancy.
So I don't have anything in athletics. So
Okay, so that is
just
a
1d6, right?
if there's nothing in athletics, you leave it empty. But since you're using mechanics, you've got a 2, so you use 2d6.
2d6.
Yeah. Okay, so that's no successes, but you don't have a negative, so it's no failures. And if you could roll that other d6 for me. Okay. So with that computer die 6, that counts technically, I think, as one success. And you begin slowly pushing the scrub bot as it goes, and you can't help but notice as it begins to move, it is leaving a very dark and very deep gash in the floor directly behind it, as if there is some kind of jagged piece of metal poking out of the bottom and gouging the floor as it goes.
Jingle will try and how attached is it? Can they pick it up and pish it?
It's quite heavy, but you can give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it.
You can try to pick it up. Sure. So the two of you, assuming you're helping, Cookie.
Yes,
Am I there or am I still dead?
As the non-person of Pepper has that thought, the floor opens up, and a small circular panel about 2 feet in diameter extends into the air, probably about a foot off the ground, below it being this just giant vacuum, until and then there's 2 halves of a elf-shaped cast that are descended from the ceiling, and they press themselves together with a small funnel on top, and then a jug of some fleshy-looking liquid is lifted up by a robotic hand, poured into the funnel on the top before filling up the cast, and then steam comes off it like Han Solo coming out of carbonite, and then reappeared is Pepper. Exactly the same, apart from the number above their head has changed from a 1 to a 2.
Gee, guys, I've missed you. How are you doing?
You have absolutely no memories. You've never seen these people before in your life.
Who the fuck are you?
That wasn't very empathetic of you, wasn't it?
Emotional whiplash.
Gosh. Like my gut literally just tensed so tight then.
What are you guys doing? Do you need help?
Oh, that would be lovely. Yes, please.
Well, you need to tell me what you're doing.
We're trying to take this
Reindeer cleaner.
Yep.
scepter to the
Are you trying to take it to technical services?
That's correct.
As you say technical services, a giant fluorescent arrow appears in your vision, obstructing almost everything that you can see, with Christmas lights appear around it, and it goes bing, 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 bing,
Follow me,
pointing
guys.
and motioning for you to head forward.
Follow me, guys. I know the way. And but I wouldn't leave that terrible scratch on the floor. That's something a terrorist would do.
That's why I'm lifting it up. So hopefully we won't get charged. But maybe today's not our lucky day. It wasn't for one of us.
Okay, right. Sorry, just a quick insight into the book. It says at this stage you need to know 5 things about the computer's personality, and then lists 8 things. This book is fucking insane. The whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. Like there's a where is it? There's a bit up here where it says some skills have negative numbers. Don't roll negative dice for them, as possession of negative dice is impossible and therefore treasonous. So fucking funny.
Oh,
Oh,
That sounds like a terrorist to me.
computer. Yeah, I believe there's a terrorist amongst us.
She sounds like a robot.
okay. So you guys have picked up the scrub bot and are making your way to leave the room. Do you take your mops with you?
Of course we do.
Of course.
Yes.
They're part of our
Okay.
uniform.
Okay. Yeah.
Only a psychopath
how-
would not bring their own.
Only a traitor would not carry their mop with them. So how are the people who are carrying the scrub bot carrying the mop?
I've got it like across my back, like
Oh, like in
tied
okay.
to like through my belt. Yeah, like proper
Okay.
across my back.
Okay. It's at this point, as you try and sort this out, you do seem to notice that there is a very suspicious blood-like stain somewhere on your uniform. However, it is completely untouched, as we all know. The jumpsuits that all people wear are utterly impervious to damage, and that's where all of the money from the R&D went.
What colour is this blood?
The blood—it's just like a blood-like splotch. Would be red if it were not on black clothing.
But we're not allowed to be in possession of red items.
You're allowed to be in possession of red items. You're not allowed to be in possession of a red jumpsuit.
Okay.
Don't you worry. As you are making your way to leave the room, your mops stowed away safely, you hear that same voice speak out from hidden speakers. Congratulations on joining the Santa Complex workforce, citizens. Please accept 1 XP point each as a bonus. And your little ding, 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 ding. It like rattles quite a few times, considering you're only getting 1 experience point, but who knows. Experience points can be spent on necessities or luxuries, including increasing your security level. Before you leave the briefing room, ask yourself the following 3 questions. 1, do I have all my equipment with me? 2, do I know where I'm going? 4, do I know what to do when I get there? 6, do any of the people around me look like mutants, terrorists, or other form of traitors? If the answer to any of these questions is no, or in some cases yes, then you ask your mission briefing operative for clarification. Good luck with your mission, citizens.
Thank you.
The eye that was on every single screen in the entire room disappears. The scrub bot is not looking too great. It is still making that horrible whining noise. Unfortunately, that was something that you weren't able to get rid of. You are soon learning that scrub bots that are unfixed move very, very slowly, even when being carried. As you leave the room, the large yellow arrow appears in the air once again, indicating that you should turn left down the corridor. Unfortunately, you can't see much of the corridor as it is obscured by the arrow.
What colour is the corridor?
All white.
All white.
All white. As you're leaving the room, sirens suddenly blare and a large pop-up window appears in your field of view, alerting you to the proximity of wanted Grinch, was named the Not Dead. Be careful, he may be after your mops. And it's blocking most of your sight. Now there is a giant arrow and a giant alert message on top of it. There is very little that you can actually see. How are you all reacting to the proximity of a wanted Grinch?
Computer. There's a Grinch near us. What should we do?
Within your ear, there is a small voice that says, "Stand by for troubleshooters." And as you're reacting and looking around, and you see everyone else in this corridor, because there are more than just you, everyone else in this corridor and in the various rooms to the side, as soon as that pop-up message appears in front of you, you see a lot of people also just stop and like look blankly into space for a second before resuming their duties. Most of them are wearing these black jumpsuits, but 1 or 2 of them are wearing red. The pop-up message is blocking most of your sight, but around the edges you suddenly spot a man in a black uniform like yours sprinting down the corridor towards you. He looks absolutely terrified. 5 glowing symbols that resemble what you know as humbugs float in the air above his head where most people have names. What do you do?
I mean, I'm completely unobservant, so I'm guessing I don't
Don't see
do
anything.
much.
Okay, you're too busy reading this this alert. The other two of you?
Do we know what the?
Jingle's going- Ooh, go for it.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Do we know what the humbugs mean?
You know that they are bad. You have none. Keep it that way.
No humbugs.
If you have 5 humbugs, that classifies you as a
Jingles-
Grinch.
How many?
You
And
don't
how many?
want to be a Grinch,
How
do
many
you?
does this person have?
0 at all times.
No, but this person that's running towards us. How many did they have? How many can I see on their name tag?
They've got 5 floating above them, where there is no longer a name.
Uh,
Computer, Grinch, terrorist, computer.
Please stand by for troubleshooters. There appears to be no troubleshooters in sight.
Jingle. Yeah, no. Jingle's gonna stand to one side, like crouch down and hold the mop out so they'll fall over.
Okay, like try and trip their leg. Yeah, sure. So
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah, could you roll a? This is going to be violence, I think. So whatever you have for your violence. Oh, you've got 3 in violence. Jesus Christ. And what skill do you reckon is most appropriate? I'm thinking melee, but stealth could also work if you're trying to sneak it. Depends the way in which you're doing it.
Stealth it. Stealth it. So
Stealth
they
it.
don't
Okay.
see it.
So violence 3, stealth 2. That is a total of 5d6. So if you roll that and then the 1 afterwards. Oof. I'm afraid that is no successes. So what happens is you try and very stealthily poke out your mop, but as you do, your whole body goes slightly off balance, and Cookie, now supporting the entire weight of the scrubbot, begins to tip backwards, falls, drops the scrubbot on the floor. There is a sickening crunch noise, and a spring fires out at very high speed from somewhere within its insides, and the was named the Not Dead, the wanted Grinch, still looking over his shoulder as he sprints towards you, stops, begins to try and slow himself down, like his heels skidding along the floor, before falling headfirst into the underside of the scrubbot, where he is promptly destroyed by its incredibly powerful rotary saws. And blood begins to spray in various directions, just churning him out like a man being put into a wood chipper until his legs stop kicking and the scrubbot begins smoking and making an even louder, higher-pitched whining noise.
Oh dear.
That doesn't look fun.
Correct.
Continued malfunction by...
Any better now?
Yeah, totally.
There you go. Yeah, for a
Oh, there we
split
go.
second.
Okay, cool. This is gonna reflect terribly on me, isn't it?
As you...
Isn't it?
Oh, and it's happening again. You can't help but notice, as you're coming to this thought, that you look down and see your mop cleanly broken in 2. These sirens that have been blaring this entire time promptly stop, and everyone that around you stops dead and looks at the 3 of you and the shattered scrubbot on the floor.
Wow. Wow.
This is the worst it's been, I'm going to be honest, Ellie.
Maybe you should lay off the Christmas gin.
Right.
Holy shit. Nope.
So, Was name is very dead, and it's your fault. A squad of troubleshooters thunder around the corridor, resplendent in their red armor, laser pistols drawn, and they all halt by the corpse. Their leader fixes you with one extensible metallic eye. Oh my god.
I could just listen to this all night.
Oh my Christ.
It sounds like she's cheering, but in pain. That was so good.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
Their leader fixes all of you with one metallic eye resembling that of a chameleon. Like it's that little like circle with the actual red lens poking out the front of it, and it gestures around and says, "Which of you is responsible for this?" Motioning to the bloodied and disgusting corpse of what's named the not dead, though now very dead, lying on the floor in front of all of you.
I shyly point like.
Okay, you're pointing, and are you pointing to the person who actually did it, or someone that you don't like?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, yeah. You point to Jingle Balls, and
telling a lie is a traitorous factor. I wouldn't lie to the computer.
And Pepper, what are you doing or saying?
Computer, I feel like there's issues with Jingle Balls.
I believe there's a malfunction.
I believe maybe she might need to be rebooted.
I believe so too.
Oh my god.
There seems to be an issue with her vocal cortex.
Borderline painful.
Oh, she's gone.
Right.
Traitor, she's abandoned us.
You know what's worse? I was on mobile data.
It's so funny.
Oh, it is. Tell you what, just listen to this back purely for this bit. So
it's the bit
fantastic.
that you go. It's literally the bit that you go. I hate you guys. It's so good.
or that I'm in so much trouble. Okay, so you are being blamed for this, for the murder of wanted Grinch, what's named the not dead, now dead.
I was going to point at Pepper.
Okay. So it's now a Mexican standoff. Pepper, what are you doing?
I had nothing to do with this. I'm the one that called the troubleshooters. I was awaiting orders.
Computer, Pepper is, as much as I'd hate to admit it, telling the truth. Jingle Balls is responsible.
The senior troubleshooter with the robotic eye draws her laser pistol and points it at Jingle Balls. I should say these laser pistols are shaped like candy canes.
That was incredible.
And she tilts her head up and speaks to the ceiling. Computer, I'm arresting this this drummer boy working party for the unauthorized termination of notorious fleeing Grinch known as what's name, and a panel in the ceiling retracts before a puppet descends from the ceiling, all made of various bits of synthcrete and other white plastics, before the screen that takes up its face flickers into life, and there is a singular eye, and the puppet begins emoting over the top like someone from Thunderbirds. Says, "Congratulations, drummer boy working party. You have aided Santa Complex with your selfless act of quick thinking. One less Grinch is one more reason to sleep well tonight. Each of you receives 500 experience points immediately. This is enough to raise each of you to Piper level. Well done." The troubleshooters, and then the computer waits a moment and then goes, "Yay!"
Yay!
All of the troubleshooters look around to each other and start clapping, go, "Yay," while looking incredibly annoyed. The computer continues. However, sensory feedback indicates the destruction of valuable Santa Complex equipment, and the giant puppet sort of like does like a little hop skippity dance and then points its whole body towards the shattered scrub bot on the floor, and says, specifically a revised standard mop, and then you see past it, and there is a shattered mop on the floor. Drummer Boy Working Party, each of you has 5 experience points deducted as a lesson in taking care of valuable items in your care. And you see your values all went from 1 to 501, all increasing you to Piper level before you have 5 experience points immediately deducted. Ding, 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 ding. You will now have 496, and you're back to Drummer Boy level. Each of the members of the troubleshooters look much more pleased now that you are not their equal.
For computer, I still have my mop.
It says, yet you are unable to protect the mop of a fellow drummer boy?
I tried.
Not sure I like that answer. The computer then turns to all of you and says, in recognition of your abilities, you're being reassigned to a new mission where there will be less chance of damage to equipment. Await new damage. I read the same line twice. Await new briefing details. Thank you. You are now 4 experience points away from promotion to Piper level and probably becoming troubleshooters unto yourselves. Oh my fucking god, this is funny. Yeah, so you're 4 experience points away from promotion to Piper level and probably become troubleshooters themselves. They're likely to spend the rest of this mission desperately trying to get those remaining experience points, and it is your job to prevent this as best as possible. Fucking funny. So you all await a second as the troubleshooter squad looks around, seemingly not knowing what to do before dispersing, and very swiftly afterwards, Crackle reappears from a different doorway in a completely different direction, looking hurried, red hair, same color as her jumpsuit, pasted back, and she approaches as a larger scrub bot appears from a hatch in the wall and makes itself busy ingesting the corpse of what's name, just with very human-like hands, just jamming it into its open, churning blade of a maw. The broken mop and the smaller scrub bot are also sucked into this larger scrub bot. Crackle stands at the end of at the back of your group, bearing a single sheet of paper. I suppose you think you're clever. Sector's in crisis and you go around interrupting the work of troubleshooters? I'm not impressed. Plus, you've been reassigned, effective immediately. It says here you're to go to Sector HOY, where you must find a plug, unplug it, and plug it back in again. Don't ask me questions. I know as much as you do. Cerebral Cortex will guide you. Keep hold of your mops. This is a 150 experience point mission. And, oh, brilliant. Apparently, I'm coming too.
Welcome.
I'm not. A notification pops up in everyone's cerebral cortex, directing you to the nearest production, logistics, and commissary. Or how is it? Commissary depot. And again, this arrow is taking up almost all of your vision, so you can. To get anywhere, you sort of have to walk sideways so you can see where you're going out of the corner of your eye. The yellow arrow just not so subtly directing you of the direction to go. Crackle immediately heads off in the direction of the room.
Can I make the arrow a bit smaller in my vision, please?
As you say that, Crackle turns to you and makes a motion with her hands like she's pinching. As in, moving her thumb and index finger closer together before, like pointing her head towards you and then turning and walking.
Oh, I'm gonna make the same movement and try and make it smaller.
Okay, and everything on your heads-up display gets infinitely smaller. The arrow is now perfectly manageable, but you can no longer see your expected health, your items that you've stored in your backpack, or how many clones you have left. Shame.
Okay, so I'm going to open it back up, like I'm opening it back up to a normal height. Then can I pretend to click on the arrow and make just the arrow smaller and move it off to the side?
Okay, you click on the arrow and try to make that smaller, and then as it does, it sort of starts to shake and it jitters around, so it's now half off your HUD. But it is smaller and it is more out of the way. But if it was to be pointing anywhere but forward and left, it is somewhat difficult to tell you where it's going to go.
Like move it so I can see it, or
You move it. You can like sort of drag it in your heads-up display to the center of your vision, and then you let go, and it immediately zips back to the side again.
follow these dimensions. Cool.
It's trying to format something in Microsoft Word. It just doesn't want to happen. Yeah. So production, logistics, and commissary turns out to be the door next to the technical services department that you were supposed to deliver the scrub bot to. PLC, your cerebral cortex reminds you, is where you get mission critical equipment from. A bored-looking technician looks up at you. Drummer boy work party to sector HOY. Wait here. And he rolls his eyes before heading back into the storage room behind him.
Hey, computer.
A robotic eye on a stalk comes down from the ceiling and says, "Yes."
Please may I be excused for a moment to allow fluids to leave my system?
You may.
Thank you. I will inform you upon my return. Thank you, computer.
Sounds like a traitorous act to me.
It's not. I'm just going for a piss.
So you are stood outside with Crackle as the technician begins going down a checklist of equipment that he is supposedly meant to be giving you. It says crowbar. No, I issued the last one an hour ago. Crossed it off. Breathing apparatus. Breathing what? And looks to all of you.
Sorry, repeat that, computer.
Breathing apparatus, and the technician that is handing out equipment, looks down at the sheet and goes, breathing. I will assume air, and crosses it off. We're out. Jetpacks, he gives.
I'm unobservant, so that was purposely.
Yeah. He sees jetpacks on the list, and then looks at Crackle and goes, jetpacks? Before giving her a long-suffering look. Scrubbot. Now, we were supposed to have one come through from technical services, but apparently there's been some sort of hitch. You've got mops. You've got a mop each. They'll do. Sign here, and hands the form to Crackle. She signs and sighs before removing one of the items from the box. It appears to be a gun-shaped device where the end is a large cone. You would know this from your implanted memories as a megaphone. And she hands out the rest of the equipment. There's 3 items, and I will have people roll for them, as this should be absolutely random.
What are we rolling? A 1d6 again?
Yes, please, yeah. Okay. So, starting off, she's going to give the best item to, since, he's not here, he gets a 0. She produces what looks like a mech suit from the box and goes to give it to Jingle Baubles before halting and saying, "Where's your mop?"
It broke when the Grinch whacked into.
Oh, that's a shame. And then sort of pushes past you and hands the mech suit over to
Pepper's
over
back.
to. Oh, congratulations! You just got a mech suit.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
What,
Oh my god.
am I allowed to use the mech suit?
yes, it is being given to you. Let me see if I can get the card set.
What a
They'll
time
have
to come
information on them. Let me see.
back.
So these are all action cards, and I do not have the time or the patience to start handing all these out. So what I'm going to do is send this over in the middle. Body armor. So you get a -2 to athletics, unfortunately. But increases your defense rating by 2, which basically means you can take 2 damage before you start to die. And it makes very loud hydraulic noises, has a habit of coming off, breaking, or running out of power at very inopportune moments or critical failures. That is the body armor handed out. That. And then then Crackle grabs something else from the box and hands it immediately, shoving past you. Jingle Baubles hands it to Cookie. It is, again, looks quite like a gun, but this time it has a large gas canister strapped on the front, some sort of flywheel, and what looks like a hook hand on the front. Cookie, you have a grapple gun. I will put that in the chat now as well. Mechanics +2 uses compressed gas to shoot a grapnel attached to a steel cable. Very useful climbing, swinging, or rapidly descending. Could be used as a level 1 weapon with the additional benefit or problem that on a successful hit, you are now attached to your target.
I thank you.
And then Crackle then gets the last remaining item from the box and says, yeah, this will do, and hands over a large red bag to you, Jingle Baubles, and you immediately recognize it from your implanted Cortec that this is a med kit. Something more fitting of you, I feel. Now, maybe after failing to look after a mop, you can start to look after us instead. Onward! And she immediately spins on her heel before walking towards a new arrow that has appeared in your vision, directing you to where you are meant to be going afterwards. Sector HOY is not very close, and Crackle leads you to a bank of turbo elevators and punches in your destination, and the doors swing open. She steps inside, looking to all of you.
We follow.
Okay, you'll step inside.
Are we allowed to enter the elevator?
Yeah, there is no. You would know if there's somewhere you're not allowed to go. There is a large red. Well, in this case, it is people of Piper and above. There is a red bar, and then where is it? And then Lords. It is a orange bar, and so on and so forth. As long as there is no bar above the door, you are allowed to enter. You all step inside. The doors close behind you. The elevator drops about 3 feet. And then changes its mind, goes sideways about 3 feet, and then decides to go upwards. And Crackle turns to you and goes, "It's meant to do that." Well, it does that. The ride seems to go on for a while, and it's not possible to tell if the elevator is actually moving anymore or just standing still and vibrating. It appears to just sort of be, all you can feel is sort of just a rumbling of the ground. What do you guys do while you're in the elevator?
Can I get into my armor?
You can indeed.
I'd like to look over the grapple gun, make sure that it's or meets standards.
It appears to be absolutely perfect in every way, apart from the fact that it is falling apart at the seams.
Ingle's gonna sulk for a while with her medkit.
You go through it, and I mean, as you can see on the card, it can heal someone. These are things that you can use in combat, basically. So when we get to combat, you have to roll actions. It's very complicated. I'm going to be honest. We probably won't do it because it does require you to be able to hand out cards, like deal them from a deck, and that is not going to go well if we don't actually have cards in person. So you can just use it to patch someone back up, maybe make them slightly less wounded than they are currently. Eventually, the elevator stops actually vibrating, but the doors do not open. Crackle stands there, tapping her foot and rolling her eyes.
Is there an open door button?
There is a button next to the door. Yep.
Can I Can I? Fuck! I press it.
Okay, you press the button, and it opens a panel directly above it that has a second button that says "Door Override."
All right, Crackle. Shall I override the door because it doesn't seem to be open? And we outside our destination.
She pretends she doesn't hear you.
What does my heads-up display have? A location.
Yes, so you see the arrow is pointing out of these doors.
But does it say what sector we're in?
It says you have arrived in. Or it's assumed that you've arrived in Sector HOY.
Then I don't want to press the button. Someone else press the button.
Are you trying to tell me what to do? The
No,
redhead elf.
I wasn't talking to you, Crack. I was talking to Cookie or Jingle Bubbles. I was.
Do you have clearance to tell them what to do?
We are peers, and I'm not telling them what to do.
Pulling rank on someone that you do not have clearance over is definitely something that a traitor would do.
I agree.
He's
Computer?
totally a traitor.
And every single flat surface in the entire elevator turns into a LCD screen with a giant eye on it, and all of them focus on Crackle and says, "Hi, Crackle, how's it going?" And Crackle says, "Yeah, I'm just wondering. Remind me again. In the rules, are you allowed to pull rank on someone if you don't have the clearance above them?" And the computer goes, "No, I don't think that is the case, Crackle. Why? Do you suspect someone of acting like a traitor?" And Crackle goes, "Well, I don't like to point fingers," and then immediately points a finger towards you, Pepper. And the computer, all of the eyes again focus on you, Pepper, and it says, "Okay, well, Pepper, just so you know, we're going to be keeping an eye on you. We hope you're not a traitor, but make sure we don't get any worse, eh?" And you all see as a single cartoon humbug bing, appears above Pepper's name.
Thank you, computer, for giving me another chance to prove my worth.
The eyes reappear again and says, "Hi, how's it going?"
Great. How are you?
Can't help but notice that you just thanked me for giving you a traitor token.
I thanked you for not killing me.
I don't know how to fucking react to that.
I thought you were going to kill me and I was going to lose a clone, but you didn't, so I thanked you.
Well, make
For
sure that
allowing
you don't.
for
Make
allowing
sure that
me
you
to
keep
think
it that way, huh?
Yeah.
Make sure not to get any more traitor tokens. And
I
the
won't.
eye, boop, 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 all of them one by one start closing.
You're the best.
I know.
I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much. Not you, Crackle. Not you, Crackle. Just Cookie and Jingle Balls. I hate them. You're amazing, Crackle. You're
I think
amazing.
that's something a traitor would say.
Crackle turns and says, "You know, hatred is a traitorous emotion. You're not a Grinch, are you?" Computer, computer, and the eyes once again boom, 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 appear and says, "Hey, Crackle, how's it going?" "Oh, thanks, computer. Not too bad. Just wondering, does hatred classify you as, well, is hatred a traitorous emotion?" "Well, yes, Crackle, I do believe it is." Awesome. Okay, you are keeping an eye on Pepper, aren't you?" And it says, "Just one moment," and all the eyes close and it turns off, and you hear the noise of a VHS tape rewinding, and then you hear him saying under his breath, "I hate all of you." Very, very quietly from the speakers, all the eyes open back up again and goes, "Yeah, I'm afraid that's definitely the case." And then a second bing, humbug appears next to the first above your name. And as this happens, Crackle says, "Well, it's just my job, computer." And computer says, "As a reward for keeping an eye out for traitorous activity, here's 25 experience points." And you see, you hear the ding, 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 ding noise as her amount of experience points ticks upwards towards whatever next goal she is looking for.
Well done, Crackle, for showing that it's wrong to break the rules
She
The angry breathing down the mic.
I would like to rage.
she says nothing but looks pleased with herself and says, "Can you stop us being stopped, please?"
I shyfully but willingly go over and try to press around and make the doors open, I guess.
Okay. So the first button has been pressed, revealing the second button that will open the doors. You press the door open button, and as the doors open through the shallow, thin, maybe 6-inch wide gap, as it
Oh my
slowly
god!
grinds itself open, you see that the elevator appears to have stopped about a meter below some sort of red, very thick red carpeted floor. Oh wait, no, that's not red carpet. And the about a meter deep red goo begins to flow in to the elevator, filling you all up to almost like up to your chin as you begin to wade around in brilliant red dessert topping. The floor is moving in slow motion. A wave of viscous red fluid cascades over you, covering you up to your waist and sometimes up to your armpit. It smells of strawberry flavoring.
Try and put the air tank on.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, the air tank for
breathing air.
Oh no, that was you weren't able to access it. You're all out.
Oh.
The items that you've been given are the only ones that you have.
Oh.
It smells very distinctly of strawberry flavoring. And now, for all of you who decided to participate in buying a sweet flavory treat, if you'd like to just take like a big mouthful of jam, whatever the fuck it was that you got, just to keep in your mind what everything is like when you're up to your neck in strawberry jam. Outside, the huge lobby area is awash with red jelly, and the guiding arrow in your heads-up display appears pointing directly ahead. Your destination, it says, is subsector K15.
Can I see anything from the outside that I could probably shoot the grapple to?
You see some like furniture floating around.
I'd like to point at the nearest thing, the nearest most stable thing, and hold with both hands the grapple, and like look to everyone else and say, "Here goes nothing," and kind of like fire the gun.
Okay, yeah, sure. So you fire a grappling hook at something stable, like a supporting pillar or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay. Anyone who tastes it or asks the computer will find the substance is red dessert topping. Terrorist action has breached a massive vat of the stuff, flooding sector HOY to a depth of 1 meter. For reasons that are unclear at this time, it has the consistency of chocolate sauce. Items of furniture float half immersed on its surface. Clones are struggling through the flooded elevator lobby and nearby corridors, trying to go about their business as best they can. You notice as you're getting mouthfuls of the stuff that it is very sweet, tastes like synthetic strawberries, and slightly acidic. I would like you to roll 1d6 as you fire your grappling hook.
One.
One, you're fine.
Okay.
So, yeah, you notice as you fire your grapple gun, you fire it, and there is a very loud, distinctive noise as a lot of this red dessert topping comes firing out of where the gas canister is attached. But the grappling hook, nonetheless, fires towards the ceiling, grapples in, and you can pull yourself out of harm's way.
I look at Crackle and say, "You first, as you outrank us. Of course, you should take the lead and show us the way." Nervously and shyly, as I would.
Yeah. As you do so, the grappling hook begins to reel in at great speed, and you zip towards the ceiling. You're now dangling probably about 6 feet over the surface of the jam. just holding on for dear life. And Crackle looks around, looks at the jam that is surrounding her and the rest of you, and begins to sort of push her way through, speaking through a megaphone. Come on, clones! And then wades, half swimming, half walking through all this jam out into the main lobby area outside the lift itself. Wading through red dessert topping is tough, slow. Well, it's tough and slow going. Swimming is even slower. So, what would you like to do? We've got one guy hanging from the ceiling, your supervising officer walking away, and the two of you, well, one of you is getting closer and closer to becoming a Grinch by the minute.
I'm gonna follow Crackle.
How high am I dangling?
You are 6 feet above the surface of the jam.
Okay, and
you know that the jam is about
the group, or
yeah.
How far ahead of the group am I?
Probably like 30 feet or so. You're at an angle.
I probably
but,
wait for them to get closer. If they're approaching me, I'll wait until they're a bit closer.
Yeah. It is a corridor, so you do have to. You know, there is one way in, one way out. You just come on the way in,
Can I
so
kind of try
they're gonna have to go
and
past you.
loosen the grapple as well while I'm waiting for them to approach, so I can actually
Sure.
get down.
Yeah. You shake the grapple gun a couple of times until the ceiling cracks a little bit more, and you drop 6 feet directly into the dessert topping. If you have the food, please take a large mouthful. Let's see. Yeah, there are these various other clones wandering the corridors, just trying their very best to carry on as normal. Yeah, what would you like to do, the rest of you? You're following Crackle, correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, now this is as I said, there are various clones floating around. There are also bits of furniture. And there's all sorts of ways you can go from here on out, but this is up to you now. What would you like to do? How would you like to do what you want to do, more specifically?
I mean, I'm unobservant, so.
Sounds like an excellent way to get away with not having to do any decision making.
It's not by choice. It's just my personality.
It's what my character would do.
The dreaded words. Oh, really quick. Speaking of like wanker players, you know the level 20 gladiator match that was organised like quite a while ago.
Oh, I kind of vaguely remember something in the chat.
Yeah. So it hasn't actually happened yet. Some people apparently don't know how to make character sheets, but one of the players earlier today said, right, well, this event seems more fucking dead than a body that's been blasted into space and nuked to shit, so I bid you all farewell, shitlords. And then left the chat.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah. What? Why? What's going on? It's very strange. But apparently they're still on this server, so they're a Juliet player. I don't know if it was just a very poor attempt at humour, but who knows?
Juliet's a very strange group at the moment.
They're the one that got like 8 DMs in 1 week.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, what did you guys like to do?
I'm following Crackle.
Okay. Following Crackle. She is taking very little initiative. Her only command is to tell you, fix the problem. Get the mission done. I am merely a supervising officer. I'm not here to do your jobs for you.
Have we still got an arrow pointing towards where we're going?
You most definitely do, yeah.
I'm going to pull it down so like just into my sight so I can see which direction I go, and I'm going to start heading that way.
That's an idea. How do you make your way there? As I said, the red dessert topping is making navigation very difficult.
I'm going to attempt to stride.
Okay.
See how far I get and if all else fails, I'll swim.
Okay. As stated, I think this might have been like the second that you were away, but
It's hard to swim.
yeah, this where does it say it? Yeah, wading through red desert topping is tough and slow going. Swimming is even slower. However, there are various bits of furniture floating around, and you notice that one or two of the other clones that are out and about around the place are all that. Well, one of the two of them are holding onto small armchairs, right, on their knees and paddling with their arms as a vague attempt to try and move.
One near me.
Does that seem effective?
It seems like they aren't neck deep in jam.
I find the closest like free piece of furniture I can use to do the same.
Okay, yeah. You go. You have a look around, and you find that there is a lovely-looking divan from some kind of executive office that can very comfortably fit 4 people sat like as if a canoe, like almost tucked into one another. So you can all get on it, not a problem. Now, how do you intend on moving this piece of furniture?
Is there like a long piece of wood around?
There would be a mop, but oh no, someone broke their mop.
I have a mop. I'd
Can we
like to
punch
try
our way
and
down?
just see if the consistency isn't like too thick that it will snap. I'll use that. If it seems like it's too like thick and may snap, then I stop using it.
You get the impression using your mop that if it was to feel like it was too thick to snap, then you're probably in a situation where you're going to die as well. So it's not that bad.
Okay.
Oh, I should also mention, as you step out of the lift and the get flooded by jam, a thing appears in your HUD that says "checkpoint!" exclamation mark.
Right.
Yeah. And that was right after the after Pepper got 2 humbugs. So you all hop on top of the divan, and you begin to move out of the lobby and down the passage in the direction of this big glowing arrow. Away from the larger spaces, this flooded sector seems largely deserted. Get it?
Is that a
Deserted.
That was terrible.
It's in the book. Going is slow. The red fluid slops lazily against the corridor walls like a blood red sea in slow motion. Most of the doors are closed, though the ones you aren't, you can see, or through the ones you aren't, you can see ordinary rooms, their contents bobbing about. In various ones of these rooms, there are clones sat at a desk typing on a keyboard that is very, very quickly sinking into the immense layers of jam. If you would like to do some exploring, feel free.
I'm just focused on getting to where the HUD's telling me to go. I'm too unobservant to look around elsewhere.
Okay, you're following the arrow. Say again.
Do I see any plugs?
You're having a look around, and maybe some of these electrical appliances have plugs in, but they don't look like they're on.
They don't look like they're on.
No, and the arrow is directing you elsewhere.
Okay, let's go to the arrow.
Can Jingle look out for a new mop, please?
Okay, yeah, not a problem. You have a look out for a mop. As you're going through, you see a couple of rooms. You see a red level dormitory with the big red thing above the door. You see a break room for troubleshooters. Again, a lot of things floating around. But you do spot like a gun hanging on the wall. And you also see a sign that says PLC above a door that is locked shut.
Again, please.
Also, there's a toilet.
I've already been, thank you.
Oh, this is... All the facilities of the toilet are below the surface of the red dessert-topping sea. How to poop, how to wash your hands, what to do if the computer should instruct you to wash your hands. Open brackets. Note to GMs not paying attention. Find a reason to have the computer order the PCs to wash their hands.
Computer, are our hands dirty?
You are covered in jam.
I really think we should wash our hands
Yeah, I agree.
How are you going to wash your hands?
in the bathroom.
The
jam.
from beneath the surface of the sea, what looks like a water cooler almost, but instead of the area where water would be, is filled up with this dark, like yellowish oil, and in it bobs a single robotic eyeball, and it propels itself towards you, and says, "Hi guys." Can't help but notice you're taking a while to get to Sector K15. Is something happen to be the matter?
No, not at all. We're just getting through this jam. It's taken a smidge longer than we'd hoped.
Jam? What jam?
There's loads of jam all on the floor.
Sorry, are you saying that some jam is more accurate than Santa Complex's entire estimations of the length that jobs take?
Oh,
You're not doubting Santa Complex, are you?
That
Not
sounds
at
like
all.
a traitorous thing to do.
Excellently put.
bite me.
You see in your HUD, your experience points ticks up by 1. You now have 497 experience points. The eye spins back around in its glass canister towards you. Can't remember the name. Is so stupid. Jingle Bobbles.
Is throwing your teammate under a bus a traitorous thing to do by any chance?
Again, another thing a traitor would say, surely.
To clarify, throwing someone under a bus, both metaphorically and literally, is classified as a traitorous move. However, if the bus happens to be made of loyalty, then we can only argue that it is a very untraitorous thing to do.
I see your logic.
that clears
I
everything up.
agree. Thank you, computer.
No problem, guys. But remember, we are waiting, and the glass kind of goes back under the surface of the water.
Light gun. That's
I
all
just
want.
give like proper grumpy eyes, like shifty eyes at Jingle Balls.
You just see Pepper like smiling, really happy, but just crying a little bit for having done far less, but been given 2 humbugs.
It reminds you, what's that? This is the one. This is the meme, the exact meme I'm thinking of. Right, one sec. Oh, let me put it in the right chat.
Is there a way to like stepping stone my way over to the gun?
You notice above the door there is a very thick red bar, indicating, of course, for your implanted memories will indicate to you that this is definitely an area that people of your class, drummers, should not be going. This is a pipers and up only area.
We'll just continue the mission.
No one's looking.
The computer is looking.
Excellently put. If you didn't have 8 Moxie points, I'll give you another one. As you are heading down this corridor, after a few hundred meters, you come to a crossroads. The guide arrow tells you to turn left, but the corridor that you are turning left into has a large red bar above it, at eye level, so that it is most easily visible, meaning, obviously, that only red level, i.e. pipers and higher citizens, can go that way. Crackle drums her fingers on the side of the boat and looks at all of you. Why have we stopped?
Go that way.
Feel free.
Hey, Cookie, why don't you take this one?
Oh, sorry. I was merely awaiting further instruction.
Just suggesting that you might want to continue down this path. On
Sounds
your
like an
own.
excellent idea.
Yourself.
Sure. And I just start walking.
Okay. Well, you say walking.
Sludging, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. You hop off the side of your thing, and as you head underneath the large red banner indicating you are not allowed to go in here, a siren wails, and then Crackle says, "Computer, several drummer citizens are planning or have gone into a Piper level area." And then the voice of the computer booms from nearby speakers. "Drummer citizens, immediately vacate the Piper level corridor. Each of you now has 1 treason token." And bing, 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 you all gain 1 treason token.
Well, I didn't go down.
Okay.
That's rude.
I returned because I'm listening to what I've been told.
Yeah. You are subjected to you are what is it? You are suspected to have carried out conspiracy to commit trespassing. And then the voice somehow focuses its attention. "Citizen Crackle, receive 30 XP points for your vigilant attention." And you hear, and Crackle looks very pleased with herself.
This is totally not fair.
And she's just like sat arms crossed in the doorway of where it says red only.
We're definitely supposed to be going down this way.
We might need to find a different way down.
Game isn't-
Computer?
Crackle says, "You're not planning on diverting from the mission, are you?"
No, we're just trying to find another way that is legal for us level 0 people to do.
Just to clarify, I've taken the names from the song. What is it for 12 Days of Christmas? So there's drummers, pipers, lords, ladies, maids, swans, goose, rings, birds, hens, doves, and pear tree. They are the ranks. So whenever I stumble before saying your names, it's because the book calls you infrareds, and she's red. Just so you're aware, got to make it Christmas themed somewhat.
Computer?
A panel appears from within the wall, and on the other side there is a mirror, and the mirror is of you, but it is not matching up to your motions. This is, "Hey Pepper, how's it going?"
Very well, thank you. Computer, are you able to plot a course to our location, which drummer rank individuals are able to go through?
Are you not satisfied with the conditions of your current travel?
Well, I am, but we got a treason star for going down this way because it's a piper route, not a drummer route. So
The figure in the mirror taps its chin a couple of times before exclaiming, "I can grant you a one-time access path for that section of the corridor, just to speed things along somewhat. We don't want to have to reroute the whole map. That you don't even want to see the requisition form for that one."
will we get traitor points for walking down this route?
No, not this one. No, one-time access pass. This section of the corridor.
Computer, is this to all red routes or just this one red route that we're on?
Just this one time.
Right. So what happens at the next one?
It stops for a second and it wiggles its hands and its eyes flicker a little bit. It goes, "Looks like this is the only one.
The only one that we're allowed to walk through, or the only one there is?
The only one on this route."
Okay, thank you.
It gives a thumbs up, and then the mirror flips back round to be a blank. Well, I say blank white stained red with jam. And you are now presented. Crackle is still sat there, rubbing her hands together. Any day now. You have a job to do. And she looks at a watch that she's not wearing.
After you, Cookie.
Of course, although I went first last time, only feel it fair that someone else has the opportunity to go before I, and I kind of hand gesture that.
After you, Cookie.
It appears that you do not want to go first, Pepper. That seems like a treasonous act.
After you, Cookie. Crackle's waiting.
Crackle pipes up. I am waiting.
After you, Cookie.
I
After you,
begrudgingly,
Cookie.
I begrudgingly move forward.
Okay. You step into the corridor, and Crackle looks at you, and then looks like she opens like a little display screen, like in her vision, and scrolls through a couple of times, and says, "Okay." And you see a small token that had appeared in your inventory that said "one-time access pass for this corridor." Disappears. But you are welcome to travel down this corridor. Congratulations. Very swiftly, the corridor widens out into a large food service area. Islands of what looks like congealed breakfast mix, TM, float serenely between the countertops that protrude above the low waves of the liquid. High above, sparks flicker between shattered lighting fixtures hanging from the vaulted ceiling. And there's a yell of, "Ahoy, sector! Torrents amidship on the scurvy bowport! Overclock the mainsail and prepare to be motherboarded!" And 5 people row into view, paddling a long table with sheets tied to its legs. A black flag with a skull dangles limply from one inverted table leg. These people who, with a vague knowledge of pirates who are approximating to be so, are approaching you. What would you like to do?
I'm shy and I'm unobservant, so I don't notice that they're pirates, but I shy away.
Naturally.
Oh, Crackle, this doesn't look good.
Crackle, aren't you ranking? Is Crackle ranking above us?
Yes.
Crackle is, yeah.
Crackle, what should we do? You're the rank above us. Maybe you've got some answers.
I don't know. I don't want to put myself in harm's way. Oh, okay, right.
That's okay. Cookie will shield you.
And she scratches her chin. Computer, and one of the guys on the ship, his head just twitches a load of times, and his mouth just stretches open, and his small robotic eye pokes out from where his head once was, and says, "Hi, Crackle, how's it going?" And Crackle says, "Hi, just wondering, is it a traitorous act to imply that your friends should sacrifice themselves and put themselves in harm's way?" And it says, "Wow, if any citizen did that, I really would have to question their motives."
I was merely saying that any one of us would be willing to lay down our lives for our superior. I wasn't saying anyone in particular, but more all of us of a lower rank should be there to protect people of a higher rank.
Crackle looks at you with just absolute disgust on her face, and the computer, or the man who once was a man and is now a computer, turns to you and says, "Great, Pepper, that's exactly what we like to hear." And you hear noise as one of your humbug tokens is removed.
Yay!
Well saved.
I now only have 2. Yay!
I should note the game explicitly says to never ever do that, but I mean,
To never ever do what?
remove treason stars. You're meant to accumulate them until you die. Right.
Peter,
Yes.
with us trying to find a way out of this situation as we're being boarded by what looks like pirates, shouldn't our superiors tell us what we need to be doing so we can do our best to get to our end result and do the job that was given to us.
The computer turns to Crackle and says, "Hi, Crackle." Crackle says, "Hi, computer. I've got a question here from one of your subordinates asking if you have not given them an order." And she says, "No, I told them to get to our destination and fix this problem." And the computer turns back to you and says, "Sounds like an order to me."
Meant in this situation.
It just stares completely blankly at you. It's just like, sorry.
Compute.
Hi, can't help but noticing you're questioning the orders of a superior.
Not. I'm gonna put that right there. I'm not questioning any superiors. I'm just wondering what we should be doing because our superior hasn't really told us what we should do if we get boarded by pirates.
Well, I'll tell you this: pirates are considered traitors.
Oh, then there's a whole boatload over there.
It looks down at the corpse that it has inhabited, and then to the 4 people around it who are seemingly completely unaware that their friend has just died, and says, "Okay, well, I'm sure we can all imagine how this one's going to end, but I'm not allowed to see it." And then the corpse just twitches, and the small centipede-like robot curls out of his throat, which has the robotic eye on the end. It waves goodbye and jumps into the water before his corpse splatters onto the floor.
Oh my god.
So, how to fight something in Paranoia. You should probably suggest the players get some more drinks or snacks while you read this bit. Right. Okay, no, this is fucked. No, I'm not gonna do this just because it's gonna take so long to try and sort out cards. Basically, I would like everyone to roll. Let me see. Yeah, essentially initiative. So it is roll your highest stat plus your most violent skill, or what you think you're most likely to use in a fight, whatever you're planning on
So
using.
that would be like I'm guessing you're saying like your melee, like violent stats.
If your way of resolving this fight is to attack someone, then yes.
What about if I want to use my stealth to hide?
Got you.
Then you roll your stealth. If you want to be
Okay.
a sneaky person and try and evade the fight, then you roll stealth.
I will in that case. All right. So it's 5d6, isn't it? D6.
Which is it you're rolling?
Charm. I'd like
Charm,
to
yep.
Try and charm them, I guess.
Okay,
into
yeah,
not
sure.
being pirate-like and instead being kind.
Okay. So
Is there a maximum dice we can roll?
I don't think so. No, I think like literally the most amount of new dice you can roll is 11d6, and that's just because the numbers only ever go up to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, literally no number can be above 5 as far as I'm aware. I think even the stats can only be up to 4 even. I think the maximum amount you can roll is 10d6.
Can we see what color or what level these
they are wearing the same uniforms as you, but they have skull and crossbones painted over where their name tag would be.
Okay.
So you're attempting to parlay.
Not parlay. I kind of just want them to realize that being pirate-like is traitorous and wrong, and they should perhaps be nice to people instead.
Okay.
So not to attack. Perhaps.
Well, let me read something very quickly.
Not that I think that would work at all. Where's my highest stat?
I should note, you as characters have no idea what a pirate is.
Okay.
That
helps.
They must be doctors. Well, they've got skull and bone emblems, so they must be people that look at after the body, or maybe morticians.
They are all wielding fire axes and a very jagged-looking kitchen knives.
Definitely
Surgeons.
surgeons.
Members of two secret societies, the Alpha Complex Local History Research Group and the Freaks, have taken advantage of the situation to band together and combine their vague knowledge of pirates to take control of what they believe are the high seas. Fucking brilliant. So, well, first of all, I have been told that you'd like to do something. So, what do you think is some good dice for that, Nick?
Is it? I'm guessing it's my charisma, which is 5, and then what my chutzpah.
Yeah. So chutzpah is the numbers that are above all of your stats are the ones that you're most likely to be using with that one. So the mechanic you're most likely to be using with operate, engineer, program, and demolitions, and yeah. So if you're just trying to like actually not like shake them down, but you're trying to like a persuasion rather than intimidation, then yeah, that would be charm and chutzpah. So that is a total of 66, and then 1d6 on top of that.
Yeah.
Also the
That didn't.
that's yeah, you just messaged me that. And that one previously, whatever you feel is the appropriate stat and skill.
Okay, I'll try and do that in a sec. 6d6. There's that, and then there's the 1d6.
Yes, 2 successes.
Which is that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Looking at the sheet regarding the previous thing, I was going for stealth, but that's not very good for me. So
It is a stealthy. Yeah.
I was wondering
Unless
if bluff
you can
might fall under maybe
Mm,
or not.
I'm going to say if you use bluff, it's going to be a lot harder, which means you'll have to add.
Okay, that's fine. I'll go for stealth. Yeah. It's not the great, but it's
okay. So stealth at -5.
So it's 1.
Stealth, and this would be a chutzpah as well. So that is a total of 6 dice.
Hold on. 6d6.
Okay, so that is 1 success and 5 failures. So we'll resolve the parlay first, or start to anyway. You call out and you're telling them, you're terrorists, you're gonna die, and blah blah blah. This is not something you ought to be doing. And the captain, Captain Infraredbeard, he strides to the front of his boat and says, "Ha! What's a lost clone compared to this opportunity of a lifetime?" And he brandishes his fire axe and says, "We're pirates. We shall become lords of booty." And then, as you're doing so, distracted by the various things that are going on, to say the least, there are 4 people brandishing fire axes at you. You attempt to subtly slip a note into Pepper's pocket. Pepper, you immediately see, and so does Crackle. And Crackle goes, ah, ah, ah! And as she does that, the centipede-like... mute this, distract me. There we go.
Can I use this opportunity to say, I saw it fall out of his pocket?
Okay, tell you what, do that. Roll bluff and chutzpah and the computer die. If you roll more than 1, 2, 5 successes, then yeah, sure. If you roll more than 5 successes on 3 dice, yeah, that's no successes and literally impossible to occur. So with 5 successes, that is about as bad. 5 failures on your last one. Sorry, that's about as bad as it gets. And Crackle notifies you all that he is trying to put something in a pocket, and it is incredibly obvious. And I think the fact that you are so shy will cause you to admit to this crime a lot more readily than maybe a sane person.
Yeah.
That seems traitorous.
And Crackle says, not too sure that you should be doing that one, and looks over to you, Pepper, and says, now, someone with, how many traitor stars do you have? 3?
2. I lost one
2.
because I was too super awesome.
So now someone with 2 traitor tokens, maybe I shouldn't be paying too much attention to them, but I suppose someone of your caliber would know if something is treasonous. And then sort of motions to the note that has very clearly been tried to jam in your pocket.
In whose pocket? Sorry.
In your pocket.
In my pocket?
Yeah.
Can I don't even touch the note.
Okay.
Because to touch the note would be traitorous.
Crackle nods as if that's exactly the kind of thing she wanted to hear, and goes, "Oh, computer!" And the centipede-like robot skitters out from the sea of jam onto the.
So can I just ask? Like, we were about to be boarded by pirates. Does like everything else just pause?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool.
These guys. Okay, let me read the start of the paragraph. The pirates are engaging in an archaic form of recreation called live-action role-play. So they're all stood there, like waiting for you to respond, like all frozen in time. While this is going on, and the centipede-like robot skitters out and clambers up Crackle's leg and over her arm onto her shoulder, and then you hear like, and Crackle goes, "Yep, I think so." Definitely. And then the centipede skitters down her arm, onto her leg, down her leg, across the quote-unquote boat, up your side, Pepper, and you hear the computer in you go, "Hey, Pepper, how's it going?"
Very well, thank you. How are you, computer?
Not too bad. Just wondering why it is that, someone in your working party's been accused of, and like, it looks around, looks left, looks right, and goes, treason.
I don't know. We're about to be boarded by some role-playing pirates, and I was trying to hide, and all of a sudden,
Pirates? What do you know about pirates, Pepper?
Well, I'm looking at some over there. They said they were pirates, and they were going to attack us.
You know, fraternizing with pirates makes you just as bad as them, don't you, Pepper?
We're not fraternizing. They're attacking.
You're not a terrorist, are you, Pepper?
Of course, I'm not a terrorist. Terrorism is
something
it's
good
terrorist
news.
It's a terrible thing to say.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, and then this person tried to put something in my pocket. I don't know what it is, but I'm not touching it.
The centipede robot skitters down onto the floor and picks it up with like its 8 million legs and stretches out the piece of paper. And at first, it is facing you and upside down and says, "Oh no," and then turns it so it's the right way up. And you see very briefly before it's spinned around the phrase "I hate Christmas" on a piece of paper before it's turned back around again. And the centipede bot goes, "Oh no, this just won't do." And like a small flamethrower comes out of his mouth that destroys the note. And then it looks up towards Pepper. It's like, "You wouldn't know who wrote this note, would you, Pepper?"
Did I actually see who put it in my pocket? Well, Crackle did.
Cookie very obviously tried to put it in.
Cookie very obviously tried to put it in my pocket.
That's 2 accounts. Jingle baubles.
Oh, what? Oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm busy dealing with the pirates, but I love Christmas.
I love Christmas.
Typical behavior of someone who's lost their mop. And then the centipede bot turns its head towards you, Cookie, and says, "Do you have anything to say in your defense?"
I was only
You
leading.
start talking, a giant red laser beam goes out the front of this thing into the center of your head, and a 3-inch wide hole where your face once was appears, and you fall backwards into the jam. I'd like you to mark off one of your clones, please.
Done. Damn it.
That wasn't traumatizing at all.
Hopefully that's all cleared up. Now back to your troubleshooting, and it like gives a wink before retreating back into the jam.
We're not qualified for that.
At Crackle turns to you and says, "You're not questioning Santa Complex's orders, are you?"
Never.
That's what we like to hear. All of the people dressed and pretending to be pirates begin to like fake scream and go, "Ah, what sorcery is this? We do not know what lasers are," and like flailing their arms around. And one of them goes, "Yes, all we know about is cannons." And then the other one elbows him and goes, "Yes, very good." And they motion to a very like 3 toilet roll holders that have been taped together that's poking out the side of their boat, and they point it towards you and say, "Submit or prepare to be boarded."
What happens if we submit?
What are they riding?
They are on an upside down kitchen table.
And is it close to us?
You're sort of like just because none of you are actively trying to move either of your vehicles, sort of just like drifting in the same room as each other, like
Are we
orbiting each other.
close enough that I can try and tip their table over?
You would have to be a lot closer, no, unless you have a way of getting over there.
No.
I mean, you can try. You're more than welcome to try and roll, but it's going to be quite difficult unless you have a way of either getting over there or getting them closer.
No.
As you mentioned, what happens if we surrender? All of the pirates clap their hands in glee. It says, "Aha, aha! We will take your planks and make you do the booty walk."
I'm gonna say that's a firm no, thank you. Huddle?
You say huddle.
Huddle. Let's go. Quickly.
try and follow. Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Hang on.
Crackle, I don't know, but piracy seems to be a very heterosexual thing to do.
Hang on.
You don't know what heterosexuality is. It is not programmed into your
Okay, fair enough.
pre-downloaded brain.
Because Cookie's gone, like completely dead. Can I pick them up?
Yes, definitely.
Fine. And I'm gonna like slowly push us away from the pirates and try and get punt us out of there.
The pirates begin to go, "Aha! They are fleeing! A victory! A victory!" And they all start cheering and clapping each other on the back. And, "Aha! Yes, another successful victory!" And they like clap, and they're all excited. And then once you're like sufficiently far away, start just pushing. One of them goes, "Wait! They're booty!" And they start paddling past you, like it's just as fast as you are. They're all using like
Can I throw Cookie's
spatulas
body
and
at
wooden
them?
spoons. What are you trying to do? Sorry.
Throw Cookie's body at them?
Okay, that's going to be a violence and throw. But yes, you definitely can.
Okay, so that is a 0 and a 2. So I'm rolling a /2.
Yeah, slash R 2d6, and then a 1d6 after. Okay, that's you didn't have a negative in any of those, do you? No.
No, it's 2 and a...
Okay, yeah. So you pick up Cookie's body, and you don't hit them, but you throw the...
Sorry, computer. Before I throw it, I take the grappling gun.
Very well done. I was going to take that off you. You pick up the body of Cookie, the smoking hole, smelling like food that you have never experienced, and obviously the only food you've ever eaten at this point is red dessert topping and nothing else. And you take the grappling hook off their body and just shot put throw. Don't quite make it to the opposing vessel, but you do splash it into the jam, and a big small wave of just goo into their ship, and they slowly begin to start sinking. They say, "We're capsizing! Flee! Flee!" And they all start like running around like headless chickens on the boat and just shouting "flee" while doing nothing about either fleeing or getting off the boat. And eventually it just sinks below the waves, and they're just like swimming in circles, like synchronized swimming, going "Flee! Flee! Flee!" And then you drift off into the distance comfortably far enough away that you're sure they can't catch up.
Can I thank Cookie for his service?
As you go to thank Cookie, a giant robotic arm comes down from the ceiling with what looks like a nozzle on the end of it, and it gets to a open area on your divan and starts like moving back and forth and outlining what looks like a footprint, and then another footprint, and then it does another footprint on top of that, and then another on top of that, and still until it starts tracing what looks like the outline of a leg. And then you start to realize, as it is being printed over and over and over again, there is a brand new Cookie being 3D printed by this giant robotic arm. And the very last second, it goes and like squirts a little something onto Cookie's face, and you take a big breath in, and you have just been born. You remember everything up to the lift.
Okay.
After that, you have no memory. However, you do lose all of your trees and stars, which is nice.
Wonderful.
And yeah, you're also completely naked.
Can I see another black jumpsuit around anyway?
There are various clones wandering the halls, but they are alive, and to steal from another clone is treason act.
What about my dead body? Sorry.
That was thrown quite some distance away.
I guess I walk around naked then for now.
Crackle rolls her eyes and then checks her book and says, "Oh well," as if trying to catch her out on something before putting her book away.
So is nudity allowed?
Nudity is not directly disallowed, but being upset about nudity is not allowed.
Was Crackle upset by nudity?
She was checking to see if it was allowed to be upset about nudity.
Okay.
You
Well,
know
It
very
sounds like
little
you're
else.
trying to cover for being upset by nudity.
Jingle balls don't. Remember what happened last time? You're not going to win. Just let it go. Let it go. Be quiet and just let it happen.
Away from the domain of Infrared Beard, the guiding arrow points down a darkened corridor. The walls are narrower here, the ceiling is lower, and more wiring has been exposed and eroded by the slightly acidic red dessert topping. After another few minutes, the passage opens into a circular room with a wide spiral staircase descending upwards. A thick stream of red dessert topping pours down into the area from above. Your cerebral cortex pings gently to let you know that you have arrived at your destination. There is no sign of a plug.
Does it look like there's anything that we can pull out of a wall and like disconnect and reconnect something? Or
No, this room is entirely empty apart from the spiral staircase in the center of the room.
oh,
Where does the spiral staircase go?
Well, up, apparently something that is causing a lot of red dessert topping, and down, you aren't sure.
I say go up.
Are you telling us what to do?
No, I'm merely suggesting what I feel is the best solution.
Okay.
Crackle
Unless you
looks
have a
upset that she
better-
can't catch you out on something.
A better option, and then of course we can freely advise what we each desire is the best solution.
Are you telling me how to make decisions?
Sounds like something a traitor would do. So to head downstairs, you do have to go underneath the surface of the red dessert topping and be completely submerged. However, the problem is that there is it's very difficult to swim in red dessert topping and even harder to swim downwards. You are relatively buoyant in water and incredibly buoyant in this viscous red fluid.
Would I be buoyant in my armor?
No, you would not be buoyant that much at all.
Does the armor have like breathing capabilities?
It is sealed on the top, yeah.
So how much air does it have before I would suffocate?
There is nothing on the interior of the mask to indicate how much air there is.
Jolly good.
Pepper,
Yeah.
what's down the stairs?
Sorry.
Would you like to see what's down the stairs?
I kind of feel like you're telling me what to do.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking you if we would like to see what's down the stairs.
Do you want to see what's down the stairs?
I can't get down there, but I think you might be able to.
Can one of you roll brains and did I call it complex or Santa complex or the complex brains and complex, please?
Brains.
Either of you.
1.
I've got 0 on both.
Okay. So if Jingle Baubles roll 2d6, the second one will be the computer die, and Pepper roll 1d6, and that's just hope you don't get a 1. Oh no, sorry, no. Hope you don't get a 6. So that is 1d6, but I think you have a...
That was her one, so she's a success.
Yeah, that's a success. Nicely done. And if you could roll another one for the computer die, always roll the computer die just to see if the computer is paying attention to you. You do not want the computer to pay attention to you.
This doesn't seem fair. Oh no!
No, one's good. One's good. 6 is when it is paying attention to you. 1 just means you are being utterly unobserved at that moment in time, which arguably not a bad thing. So you know, having thought around, complex is the the skill that basically recognizes how good you are at knowing stuff about Santa Complex. And you can, from your vague knowledge of the layout of various areas and buildings and sectors, that down these stairs there is a room, not too big room, maybe 20-foot radius circular room at the bottom of these stairs. It is like a whole flight downward, and in there is a large drain. Very little else, I'm afraid. So you know what's down there. You know the rough layout of it.
There's a drain.
A drain.
Does it look clogged?
You can't see it at the moment, but you can assume that it is probably clogged because it's not working. There's an awful lot of red dessert topping.
Oh, that's the plug. It's not an electrical plug. It's like a bath plug.
Okay.
Was that someone applauding?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I'm not just having a very nice time.
Yay! I will jump in.
Okay, so you leap into the red dessert topping.
But before I leap in,
Mhm.
I say to Jingle Bubbles, with your great knowledge of the complex, roughly whereabouts is the plug? Is the drain? Can you position the rubber dinghy over the drain?
Wait, there's a rubber dinghy over the drain.
No. You're on a sofa, not a rubber dinghy.
Can you
Just
position
floating sofa.
the sofa over the drain so that when I drop down, I will land upon said drain?
Sure.
Thank you.
Pump my way over.
Okay, you start getting closer and closer to the staircase. You know that the room it drops down into is very small, and the drain is basically just directly underneath it. And the
So I will drop down.
Yeah, you do like the diver, sit on the edge, hold your nose, and just straight backwards. Be very thankful that you are wearing the thing, because it says, it goes without saying the PCs cannot swim. Do not be afraid to drown a few clones here. Treat them like lives in a video game or political
it's
prisoners
nothing.
cleaning up a leak in a nuclear power station. You straight back into the jelly and just sink until you hit the bottom, and you know that there is a drain somewhere around here. However, something stirs in the gloom of the Red Sea. Long, sinuous lengths as thick as your arm uncoil from the bottom of the pit and quest upward towards the light and a long ways towards you.
Me?
Yes. You have disturbed a SKW SKW-1DD0 maintenance bot.
Sorry, SKW dash
1DD0.
DD.
All caps, naturally. You see it.
Sorry, what was it?
Unfortunately,
A maintenance bot.
yes, a form of maintenance bot. Actually, roll brains and complex.
Brains is 0 and complex is 0, so I don't roll any dice.
Okay. But, oh no, you roll the 1 computer die.
Oh, great.
You want a 5 and not a 6.
There's your 1.
You at the very last second go, oh, a Squidoo bot. I know what that is. They're the ones that guard drains. And then seconds later, what did I describe it as? A metal tentacle as thick as your arm punches through the jam directly towards you before wrapping itself around your throat and beginning to squeeze. You see the visor on the front of your armor start to crack and red dessert topping filling up your suit, and you're losing out. Well, you're running out of air very, very quickly.
Can I not roll stealth?
You can indeed. Yeah, go for it. Yes, stealth and usually chutzpah, but if you want to use any other stat and give me a decent reason for it, then
Violence, because it is being violent towards me.
okay, yeah, sure, why not? Why not? So that's 76, and then roll a d6 on top of that.
R6, 7d6 equals 1, 2, 3. 3 successes.
3 successes, nice. Yeah, you manage at the very last second, having been in a defensible position, this tentacle fires straight out towards you, and you manage to duck out of the way at the very last second, and I assume begin running.
I'm hiding behind some jam.
You're hiding some jam. To illustrate what this looks like, it is, let's see, long articulated tentacles. Coincidentally, there is 1 per character, connected to a bulbous body topped with a single large sensor. It resembles a squid, somewhat. And I think, as Nick so rightly said, that we might have to call it soon because it is getting later than I thought it would be. In the next week, I will try and figure out how the fuck combat works. And then you'll be fighting the Squidoo. There is a small picture of what it looks like. Put that in the chat very quick.
Oh, he's pretty.
No.
He's deadly, but sure.
I will try and upload the audio